Hello everybody, and of course, thank you all for tuning into this ESPL weekly series all the way up to 7 right now. And of course, we are into the semifinals, the second ones of today. We got SNA+4, also known as Wild Witch Doctors with IX Mike right there, up against For Love International. I'll be bringing this to you, of course. My name is Briefcase, and along with me is Mito for the ride.
Yep, sup guys. So now we have two great teams going up against each other. So we have Ancient Apparition as the first ban, and directly looking at it, I'm loving these hero banouts. I'm hoping to see a very early Shadow Priest. Why? We're not gonna see much of an Ember Spirit anymore.
Why, dude? That's all I want.
I love Ember as well. I mean, that hero is so flashy. It's awesome. I bet they modeled the hero after Flash.
No, I don't know about that one, but I don't know. I love watching Ember Spirit, but whenever I play him, it always feels slightly underwhelming. I think I figured out why, at least for me, that later on as the game goes longer and longer, I kind of enjoy playing him less and less. And I think it's because no matter how huge you get, and no matter how big your items are, you could have like 4 Battle Furies if you wanted. Doesn't matter how much damage you do, all of your attacks are still like, they make these tiny little slash noises of just like shh, shh, and that's it. Nothing feels like heavy or hitting hard, and I don't know. I don't like. I'm not into it as much.
You're kidding me? That means you have never gotten something like double Battle Fury and then like Daedalus and 2 Divine Rapiers on top, and that's 1.8k damage, and then you just do a Sleight of Fist and the whole team's gone.
Oh no, I mean,
it has to be an awesome feeling.
No, of course. I mean, that feels good, but just normally attacking, I just get bored of it. But either way, I guess we should stop talking about why I dislike playing Ember sometimes and get more into the draft. What do you think of the first pickup, like the first pick Visage coming out of For Love International? It's been, I feel like Visage has kind of fallen off. Obviously, still does see some play, but I don't know if he's first pick material. In my eyes, kind of first picks are either heroes that you either don't want to give up to the other team, or that you think might get banned out in the second phase, but I just don't know if Visage is really one of those.
I'm actually very surprised. Visage, I still think is a great hero. I don't think the hero has fallen off as to, just simply more heroes that have preferences over. But Visage, it's still definitely there. There's so many things I can combo this hero. Now you even have the new combo with, like, say, Dazzle, the Shadow Priest, having those familiars on top of someone, and then healing. Whereas SNA+4, I'm very surprised they picked up Mirana instead of the go-to hero, which is currently the Rasta. I've seen them play the Rasta so frequently as of late. They played it in Join Dota, I think, yesterday, if I'm not wrong. Love International, they're going for a huge damage burst, with the Elder Titan having those natural orders, and then Visage, one of the highest support heroes ever to exist in the game. So both sides are looking strong right now, whereas For Love International, they are lacking the disables, the lockdowns, but it should come with the next 3 picks.
Oh yeah, I think so. I'm still kind of waiting for SNA+4's I think last week I saw them play Nyx Assassin every single game, and they all did a huge amount of work with that. And I guess just not able to pick him up this time, obviously, because he's banned out. But what do you think they pick up in spite of the fact Nyx Assassin is gone? Rubik, I feel, is not too bad, but do you think they're going to pick up anything that kind of fits that role similarly? I guess Mirana you can have roaming as well, or something along those lines, and Moonlight Shadow gives you some nice initiation with a bat, but I don't know. They love that Nyx Assassin, man.
Yeah, For Love International can still pick up the Visage. I mean, sorry, not Visage, the Lycanthrope. And so can SNA+4. Both sides can have the hero. Like that hero is just insane. But SNA+4, this seems like the same lineup as yesterday, but they've just switched up the hero order so far. The same 3 picks, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rasta being picked up here and there. But there are just too many heroes in the pool right now. Oh, okay, there we go. Now that's a perfect setup for Elder Titan. As well as this might be a support Naga, or it might be a carry Naga. It's hard to say. Both lineups have so many things they can potentially do. I want to be... now that Storm Spirit is a great pickup up against the Naga Siren, and one of the common ones as well. Even if you have the best sleep of your life, your Elder Titan ulti will most likely not catch a Storm Spirit, or the Batrider with Blink Dagger, or Mirana with Leap. So now you have 3 very versatile heroes and very agile heroes from SNA+4, which also kind of goes to saying, like, for Love International, they'll be looking to go towards more of a teamfight oriented lineup, whereas SNA+4 will be looking for those big pickoffs.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like you said, for Love International, they're hopefully going to pick up a couple of stuns, couple of disables in their following pickups. Naga Siren obviously could be a carry, could be a support, but that ensnare not going to be dealing with Storm Spirit in any way. So they do have a disable for sure, at the very least an ensnare going down, but that Storm Spirit still looks like he's going to be running fairly rampant in that mid and late game if they don't get something quick to lock him down. Something with a silence or just a hard and fast stun would be lovely as well. But like you said, for Love International, it looks like they're going for this really strong team fight, and SNA going for something a little more solo play, some more pickoff oriented lineup right now. And I think right now it just comes down to execution as well. How protected can you keep that Naga if he is going to be that carry? And just
I want to throw out there though.
Huh? What?
Beastmaster will fit perfectly into For Love International's lineup. More summons the better. And then if you throw in Shadow Priest as the last pick, then you've got, wow, just massive amount of summons, get a good surround and then a heal. At the same time, Beastmaster provides insane amount of vision now with two birds flying all over the place. You'll always be able to scout out, like, hey, what's the opponent up to? So that's a great hero there as well. Or it can even be a support Naga Siren. You go for a slightly different carry, something with a little more oomph or tanking power. Or Dragon Knight is also always viable. Well, okay.
Well, I was
then
gonna
there's
say,
a Tiny.
yeah, there's your oomph
Of course,
and
there's a Tiny.
yeah, there's your oomph and tanking power that you just mentioned. Tiny's gonna be doing that in spades, and of course he does have at least one stun for Storm, almost 2. That throw, of course, works in such an odd way where it kind of stuns that one person. So Storm Spirit might actually have a bit of a hard time dealing with Tiny solo, at least in the early game, or at least especially in the late game maybe. But interesting to see exactly how things are going to shake out. Of course, Craggy Exterior has some weird interactions with ranged creeps, or ranged heroes I should say, but everybody within 300 according to this should have a chance of being stunned, and that might really put a crimp in Storm Spirit able to try and take down Tiny. But now an Earthshaker coming for SNA+4, so it looks like, I mean, I'm hoping a roaming Earthshaker and Rubik, and that is just a match made in heaven. Even if you whiff the fissure, you can just throw him back over it.
Yeah, but Tiny against Storm Spirit, that's not the best matchup, but for Tiny. Matter of fact, Storm should have the upper hand, as long as you're sure that Tiny doesn't have the mana for full combo. If Tiny does, that's where you have to be careful. Tiny, on the other hand, though, can constantly just use whichever skill he wants to clear the creep wave and go and stack the jungle camps, and it's a very easy under 10-minute blink dagger. Or if you go for arcane boots, then you will have like somewhere around a 12-minute blink. And once you have the blink, you look at every single hero from SNA+4. Nobody will survive that burst. Not a single one of these heroes will survive a round of burst from Tiny. So it's a very kind of greedy as well as potent draft. And I have to love the Dazzle pickup. That hero is just gonna save lives for sure. If he graves at the right time. Even with the amount of lockdowns and ganking power from SNA+4. I'm hoping, yes, it's gonna be a Naga Siren. Alright, I'm officially For Love fan, as long as they can execute the Naga.
For Love International fanboy coming out, but getting to who's actually playing who right now. It looks like we're gonna have Arya 920 gonna be playing the carry Naga Siren, I want to say. Thompson as the Dazzle, gonna be going with Nepali Jesus as this Visage, going that mid. Thompson Tiny, actually a lot of T's in that name, working out quite nicely there. And then we have, oh god, POEOE playing as that off-lane Elder Titan, it looks like. And over on SNA+4, we're going to have KVH as the Mirana. SNA himself going to be playing that roaming Earthshaker, I hope, or at the very least support Earthshaker. Whitebeard checking out, making sure that no D-Warden is going on, it looks like, because they might want to use this Ancient Camp if they can. Whitebeard going to be playing that Rubik, by the way, obviously. IX Mike gonna be the Bat Rider, and then it looks like we have Ush always going as that Storm Spirit in the mid and always getting some regen pool to him. He just has such a good time mid, this hero and this player. I think I've never seen him lose mid as a Storm Spirit.
Yeah, that way so far. He's had a pretty good run on the hero. Be interesting. Tiny versus Storm. See, like Tiny, he doesn't really have the mana for full combo, and Tiny, the problem with him is he starts out with 0 armor, and his mana pool is just so freaking limited. So we have an aggressive trial. Oh, this is so dirty. They're gonna do the Earthshaker pull, but there's already a sentry down there. This is so smart from For Love International. Great idea. Like, great sentry ward.
Yeah, nice awareness, definitely coming out of For Love International, and I'm sure that they've noticed, or at the very least seen, that something like this is happening, and they're actually using it to de-ward. This ward is literally 1 pixel in that sentry vision, and a little bit unfortunate. They even did have Whitebeard scouting around in these trees, trying to make sure that no sentry was put down to stop SNA, but just couldn't stay there long enough, I guess, and had to retreat there, and then when they did, as soon as he did, they just popped down a sentry. And now it looks like SNA able to de-ward it at the very least, but we might have a few ward wars going on, it looks like, just about there, because they really do want to dedicate to get this this pull, it looks like.
Yeah, and once this pull starts coming online, it's going to be so nasty to deal with. Arya will end up losing a lot of last hits, and one of the interesting things is when you have Naga Siren up against Mirana, because just how low the base damage is for Mirana and as well as Naga, like, you don't feel so bad for the hero. Now that's a contestation for the neutrals.
Thought there might have been engagement, couldn't quite do it. I'm actually quite impressed, by the way, with how Topson is doing in the mid. He's gone for that bottle rush, giving him a little bit more oomph. Now does a combo onto Ush just to keep him low, make him at least use those bottle charges. However, though, I'm gonna be saying that there's gonna be some good rune control coming out of SNA+4 here. At the very least, I would think so. If Tiny can go get that rune, however, things are gonna look nice for him, but Ush realizes it is bot, and now it looks like Nepali Jesus maybe gonna get there just in time to stop Ush, and that's gonna mean that Tiny gets to stay in lane, and that's exactly how this is gonna play out. So working quite nicely there, picks up the illusions and now gets some damage onto Ush. He's gonna have to bottle crow through this, and now just, yeah, pot-shotting him nicely, doing not too bad with those illusions by any means, and of course that's gonna make Topson, he's actually winning the mid now because of that.
This bottle crowing is great. It's working out for him. Whereas Ush, I mean, like, so far, For Love are playing flawlessly. Getting room control, making sure the pull camps are being de-warded. I mean, getting the wards there. But, oh, now they got the second sentry. See, this is a beautiful sentry placement. This is one of the harder ones to de-ward because you have to cut a tree. So once again, the creep is going to come back in favor for Love. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about earlier.
Yo.
Picking up the Quelling Blade on a Naga Siren. This is going to help him last hit so well against Mirana. At the same time, you just don't care about Mirana's harassment because you've got a poor man's shield. It literally does, like, what, 20 damage to you every time Mirana goes for auto attack.
Oh yeah, I mean, that Naga Siren going to be very resilient. Doesn't quite have the last hits that she wants, but still getting a good amount of experience, and this lane doing A-okay. Does need to be careful, however, the poor man's shield probably not going to save her against 3. Looks like Topson using that bottle crow really, really well. Almost killing Ush, actually. Just barely surviving through that, and Topson now, yeah, he just continues the bottle crow, has a magic stick that in case he ever does get just enough charges, he might be able to polish off Ush, and Ush actually looks like he's got to retreat back to Bottle Crow and maybe even go all the way home. It looks, while that's happening, IX Mike trying to go tit for tat against PoE and is going to be able to find himself a first blood. The Napalm stacks plus Firefly, actually Firefly level 3, that damage is just way too drastic for Elder Titan to deal with, and not too sure what he's really doing there. Maybe just trying to man mode it, but couldn't quite do it. And now Thompson actually gets an Invis rune for his troubles, and he's gonna be loving that. He is having a great time in the mid, way better than I thought he would.
Oh yeah. But Ash is gonna fall for this. This has to just be one of those. Yeah, see, look, Ash is aware. Or is he? This can. Oh, this is gonna be a kill.
It's gonna be a lot of damage, and one little punch, boom, goes the dynamite for Thompson there at the very least, and he gets a kill solo against a Storm Spirit as Tiny hits his 6. That last hitting potential for him is just gonna go through the roof. While that's happening, looks like Whitebeard might be caught out. Oh, does get a lift on Arya just in time, and now they're trying to turn things around. Not sure who's really gonna take it. The heals coming out of Thompson might be a bit too much, and now that Starfall doing a lot of work for them. However, KVH taking quite a bit of damage. Shallow Grave on Arya in the last seconds there just to try and get him out. Sells. Couldn't see what he sold there, but now it looks like he wanted to buy a TP, couldn't quite, cutting down all the trees, getting some regen now. SNA does stop it, but it doesn't matter. They've actually sectioned off SNA at the very least, and he himself looks like that's going to be an easy kill. While that's happening, you actually have Thompson making his way down bot and finds a kill against the Mirana, and it looks like For Love International playing very nicely right now.
Oh man, those were some beautiful plays. Well, I thought Arya was dead, but then the Shallow Grave came, and then nice tree cutting as well as tangoing through. Oh, okay. And Apologies is just... Okay, that's one of the things I always get confused, you know? Like, a lot of Southern Americans, they have the name like Jesus, but it spells Jesus. I don't know if that's the case. Or is it supposed to be Jesus?
It is.
I don't know. I'm very confused.
It is.
Did they tell you?
What?
Is it Jesus or is it...
It's just how you pronounce the letter J. That's all. It's still the same name.
This is actually very odd from Thompson though. Because traditionally you max the toss first, and max avalanche after.
Now he's in a bit of trouble, and of course the rotation out of SNA+4 probably going to lead to a kill. He might be able to actually hurt them a bit, get a little bit of damage. If he could maybe just bottle through all this, he might be able to live and turn things around, but can't quite do it. And Dazzle just not able to get there in time. And of course, with Tiny running away from Dazzle, no chance of Shallow Grave coming out to save him in the last seconds there.
Yeah. On the other hand, Nagasaran didn't get any kills and don't have the best last hit in the world. He needs to pick up pace. I would say just go for a bottle and start spamming out those Riptide, or even go for a Soul Ring. That's another option where you can just constantly spam your Riptide. And seeing as Mirana usually don't go for any sustain in laning, it should be enough to zone out the Mirana so he can go in for last hits.
Yeah, very true, but I mean, he doesn't even really need to worry about Mirana trying to pot shot him. I guess Starstorm does do quite a bit. While that's happening, looks like Ush in a bit of trouble. Gets actually tossed back, trying to make sure that Ball Lightning isn't going to get him out of this one. Still will be able to finish him off, however. But FL Thompson still doing quite a bit of work in the mid, and with a nice amount of last hits and denies under his belts. Didn't give up a kill, obviously, to that gank, but finding a solo, he's doing none too bad by any means. And if you're Whitebeard, you actually need to be very careful. Thompson, that combo, almost 4 and 4. That is a lot of damage to deal with this early on for a support.
Yeah, I don't know. It's quite interesting. Well, like the thing is, for love, right? They're gonna keep eating these kind of ganks. See, look down at bottom, Arya's in so much trouble. And I don't think he'll be able to live through.
Oh, IX Mike, though, does find Thompson. Thompson, everything getting turned around because Whitebeard could just barely get that lift on him in time. He does have one toss available, so he can just toss one of these guys back, decides against it. And, of course, IX Mike, he's got that 8-minute Blink Dagger. Not too bad by any means, working out nicely for him there, and they can start finding those pickoffs that they really want. If Ush and IX Mike start teaming up, it's going to be very difficult for Love International to stop those kills happening.
Offlane, Kill the Titan has an arcane boots, and he's pulling the offlane creeps. Oh, now that's pretty awesome. He didn't cut down the tree, so he won't be able to pull that to the offlane. And this Earthshaker, he has a Soul Ring, and he's actually zoning out the Elder Titan with it. Um, so that comes as a bit of a surprise as well.
Yeah, just a bit. Some odd lanes at the moment, I gotta say, and just not too sure exactly where everybody's supposed to be. It looks like they are giving Earthshaker some nice levels up top, maybe getting his fissure a little bit more potent, and an Echo Slam. And I mean, I guess Echo Slam pretty useful against Naga Siren, but I wouldn't be really too worried about it at all. Probably just trying to get up that DPS and that burst that they can do, just to make sure that they can maybe find kills against Tiny, find kills against anybody they can, because Tiny right now is quite tanky. Doesn't really have any of the armor, but there are not too many right clicks coming out of SNA+4 right now, so it's not the end of the world.
Oh, all the wards are being dewarded. Okay, so this is gonna be a fight for the rune. Oh, never mind. The Rubik's standing there. Tiny decides to back out. So Thompson, he's gonna miss the regen rune, and this is actually pretty bad, because a regen rune on a hero like Storm Spirit is just disgustingly good. Yeah, and right now here's the dilemma. You need to sit the Shadow Priest on the Tiny. At the same time, Naga Siren needs a little bit of protection as well. Not doing very well up against Mirana, and Mirana is actually opting for a solo kill, as well as a smoke gank at top.
Oh yeah,
Earthshaker.
Snarlock's in a bit of trouble and definitely doomed to die here. Does get off his fissure and Echo Slam, almost turned it around on POEOE, but can't quite find it, and they give up an Earthshaker, but it looks like they're definitely going to be taking this tier 1 mid. Not too sure if anybody really wants to TP in there, and of course IX Mike is waiting in the wings. He's got his blink, he's got his lasso.
Oh, no.
While that's happening, looks like Ari in a heap of trouble in the bot lane. Couldn't quite make TP money, and with that is actually just going to make the power treads, but is going to get out of there, so not the end of the world. There's no bat waiting for her in the bot lane. Now it looks like POEOE maybe getting caught out instead. It looks like IX Mike and Whitebeard able to just get out of there in time and make sure and decide against going in by any means. But yeah, it looks like KVH winning this lane against the Naga Siren. Not exactly what I expected.
Yeah, Naga Siren has no sustain. There's a couple of options. You need a Ring of Aquila, or a Drums, or a Soul Ring, or Bottle. Like, one of these items are the things you need to stay in the lane. Mirana doesn't have any sustainability. Like, he went for a Midas. What's he gonna do once you lower his HP significantly? And if he stays in the lane, then one of your supports can just rotate and come in and finish off the kill. Oh, this is such a dangerous thing to do for the Naga Siren if he TP's bottom. He has a TP scroll, and he needs to hold on to it. Bottom is just a dangerous place to be.
It looks like he knows it, of course. IX Mike, he didn't hide, he wasn't hiding, he definitely got in a couple pot shots. They know that he's still waiting in the wings there, just waiting to see if anybody TP's in, and it's just not going to pan out, obviously. Naga Siren knows a little bit too much. He is actually just going to walk into the jungle, however, right to where the Batrider might be. Firefly just used, and IX Mike using it very nicely to just take every single creep camp that he can in this jungle, making sure they don't get anything. Now it looks like we have a possible gank attempt coming out of 4 Love International going in to the enemy jungle. However, they know it was coming. Whitebeard running for his life. No boots on him just yet. Instead, going to get intercepted. And now, definitely going to be falling here. Does just toss the Tiny back. And now with that, can't really do too much. Ush waiting in the wings. They're not too sure what they can do. Double damage on the Tiny. That is a huge amount of damage coming out. Fissure does land. While that's happening, it looks like the teams have split up. And because of that, Storm Spirit able to find Nepali Jesus' life in his hands. And now with that, how is this going to pan out? Thompson with the double damage rune is very scary. Tosses the Elder Titan up into that high ground. That is a nice position to be in. Fissure block, can't quite polish him off in time, and Thompson able to get that nice shallow grave on himself to make sure that he doesn't fall. Firefly, of course, still burning right now, but not going to be doing too much, and it looks like when everything's said and done, 4 Love International coming out a little ahead there.
I don't know. This is a
well, not anymore. Thompson just going mid, trundling forward a bit. You do have Visage here to follow up, but Thompson not as tanky as you'd want to be. Beautiful fissure coming out of him. Gets a nice throw onto KVH. However, he is incredibly low right now. Not too sure what Nepali Jesus was doing so far back. Could have gotten an easy kill on KVH if he had a if basically Nepali Jesus was there as a target to throw to, but nonetheless looked like he was a little bit too far away and giving up a kill on Tiny for pretty much no good reason, it looks like. Now it looks like Arya, of course, no tower there to defend him. He is absolutely hooped here. Looks like IX Mike does indeed get there in time for the Flaming Lasso. Had one hope maybe in Song of the Siren, but just could not find the time to cast it.
You have a Naga Siren, you need to get rid of heroes like Storm Spirit. They ruin your game.
Oh yeah, and now 14 minutes in, if we look at the gold graph just a little bit briefly, indeed, SNA+4, looking at about 7,500 gold advantage experience-wise, only 5,000, not the end of the world by any means. Things can still go very nicely. SNA himself getting caught out. Fissure on 4, not going to be enough to save him, but will actually get a little bit of harass on his buddies, so that'll eat up at least a couple more, Shadow Waves. But really nothing too much coming of it. Whitebeard, he's got Avalanche, or wait, no, he's got Toss stolen and makes a lot of use of it on PoE. But you obviously have Dazzle there always to protect him. Big zip in from Ush. Isn't, obviously, that Shallow Grave not gonna continue on Elder Titan and save him from Ush. And I mean, he's getting closer and closer to that Orchid. One more kill and he's got it. One more minute in lane and he's got it as well. And as soon as he gets that, it just feels like Dazzle going to be falling off quite heavily in all of these team fights if he gets focused on by Ush.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, this Naga Siren having the worst time of her life. Oh, and this toss.
Oh man, the toss from Leap.
Oh.
And KVH can't quite get invisible in time. Obviously, doesn't look like they had any detection available. If he did, no indeed, but able to polish him off when everything is said and done. SNA now, seeing if he can't find anybody, gets a fissure, just going for the damage itself, and they do get the tower, however, so no deny coming out there. So not the end of the world. Ush, he just wants to finish off this Orchid before he does anything else, and I mean, rightly so.
Oh yeah, this Naga Siren needs a Lincoln so bad, but being so underfarmed is proving to be extremely difficult. Whereas compared to the core heroes of SNA+4, they're getting all the items they need. Piranha has Midas, drums, and base boots. Whereas like the supports have been doing so much work. The rotations have been great. Looks like we have a big
engagement up top. SNA doing, or I should say, IX Mike doing a huge amount of work. However, you do have PoE doing a huge amount of work as well. He's got some big stapler punches coming in, or at the very least he did. Not too long anymore. IX Mike may be overcommitting here, getting a little too deep. Thompson does have one throw available. He's got to use this bottle up so he can get that mana to make something happen. One big smack, and that bat is down. KVH, though, just trying to stay out of range. There's the stun on Thompson. Needs to be careful, though, because, of course, Tiny can turn things around. And when everything's said and done, ooh, 4-Love International getting 4 kills, all the big ones as well. Shagbark actually almost falling there, getting at least hit a little bit, and the only one really living, SNA, when it comes down to it. Or maybe he just came back after everything was said and done. But it definitely looks like 4-Love International not out of this game by any means.
Oh, this Tiny, if he wants to, he can get Yasha right now, or he can go straight into the Aghanims, or even Lincolns or BKB, but preferably Aghanim Scepter, I suppose. It's his best damage output option right now. And he doesn't need the Blink Dagger. SNA+4 are always going to be the ones initiating anyways. But actually, second thought. Blink Dagger, there we go. He doesn't need it, but with the Blink Dagger, he can now go for solo kills all the time. Supports get caught out of position, they're dead. Even the Storm Spirit is in danger as long as one other person along with Tiny just there to dish out the final bits and pieces of the damage. And oh, okay, SNA is gonna be in so much trouble. He's gonna go top, trying to get some last hits, finish up that Blink Dagger. And if Tiny's right there, this is dangerous.
This is a dead Earthshaker unless he gets some sort of very happy fissure. But no, actually Thompson waits for that fissure to be used, and boom, big hits. Oh, arrow doesn't quite land because of course those familiars, such a nuisance as that's happening. However, you do have Ush on the bottom lane taking out that Naga Siren, who has just been neutered all game long. 19 minutes in, only has drums, poor man's shield, and some treads. This carry Naga Siren, if that's what she was supposed to be, not going to be doing her job for at least another 15 minutes, basically if she goes unhindered. And that just really comes down to how much space can Thompson create with his Blink Dagger.
A lot. Whoever gets caught right now will potentially be dead. Mirana will live
Dire's
through the
top tower
burst
is
with
under
like
attack.
tiny bit of HP left. Um, he needs to carry for his team though. This Naga Siren won't get there anytime soon, and I don't think Radiance is an item. It's such a luxury item for this Naga Siren right now. Yeah, probably just opt for the battle build, like just go directly into Manta style, even Linken's. If he needs something to keep himself alive.
Now it looks like we have a little bit of a dance going on in the Radiant jungle. Smoke on 3. They want to make something happen here. Now it's finally revealed, and they know something is up. Ush hiding just behind the trees, making sure that nothing works out. And now it looks like the Bat Rider may be getting caught out. Can't quite blink, but nothing working the way they want it to. And now, ooh, a little bit of an unfortunate, but a big toss. And IX Mike in a heap of trouble. Fissure on the entire team, however. And now with that Echo Slam as well. Can't quite polish anybody off. And with all of those cooldowns off of, or down, can't do a single thing. So, For Love International playing nicely, getting a couple of kills. Now the Bat trying to see if he can't find anything. Maybe he does buy back, trying to make something happen. But of course, those familiars right there, making sure and realizing that the Bat is indeed back. So nothing going to be happening. And now Ush actually getting caught out himself. Not too sure why that was happening, but we definitely saw natural order coming into play. And this is the thing, is that you're saying how even Ush at this moment, and pretty much anybody on SNA+4, can be in a heap of trouble if they get caught out by this Tiny. But some of them might just barely live through it, and one of those, of course, is Mirana. Maybe Ush could be okay, but when that Elder Titan just walked up right next to him, took care of all of that natural armor and natural magic resistance, I think Tiny's toss, it did like 400 damage. It was just ridiculous.
Boom just disappeared. Simply put. But the thing is, if you look at the item progression, right, it's not happening. It really isn't happening, even for the Tiny. You have the Blink Dagger, but then what's your next item gonna be? Magnum Scepter? That's gonna be a long while. Sure, you have the burst right now, but once you hit level 16, that's pretty much the peak of your toss avalanche combo, and that's where you need to start having those right-click damage. But so far, nobody on For Love International has the items they need to start dishing out the deeps. It looks like Naga Siren has given up indeed on trying to go for the Radiance, instead opting for more down-to-earth, easy to build component items.
I'm gonna be guessing for a Diffusal. It's just so much extra damage for those illusions and so helpful, especially against something like a Mirana, like a Bat Rider, where if you can actually take a lot of their mana away, it can be incredibly beneficial. Now it looks like we might have an engagement in the mid. Do they have Song of the Siren? They do, to actually set it up. Mirana ult now being used. They have to know that something is up. They're looking around, seeing if they can't find anybody. Thompson hiding in the trees. This would be a massive get, but they find Arya at the very least. With that silence, no Song of the Siren going to be coming out, and a stun coming out from Thompson. Can't follow it up as that's happening. The Bat Rider find a Thompson, and ooh, pays for it, or should. Very close. Can't quite finish him off. IX Mike just barely getting out of there. And right now, SNA+4 doing a lot of work. Ush just able to polish off Nepali Jesus there. As that's happening, you have POEOEOE running for his life. Not too sure if he can get out of this. Got an arrow. Looking for that fissure arrow combo. Arrow flies. Can't quite land. Starstorm maybe, but they actually are able to find an Earthshaker for their troubles. Now Nepali Jesus chasing after Whitebeard. These familiars so close to be able to actually taking them off. And ooh, it looks like that smoke only able to get Mirana out of there in time. And then that Rubik just a little bit too close to get out of there.
Still a huge win for SNA+4 though. Only I think they forced out a buyback. Yeah, they did. The Visage bought back. Same time, all the cores were picked off once again. The item progression just really isn't there for Love International. So indeed, it will be a Diffusal Blade on the Naga Siren, and Tiny still has absolutely nothing that to increase his damage output. Instead of the drums, perhaps if he wanted to raise his damage output, Dagon is an item that comes to mind as well. Having that additional burst to take down heroes efficiently. I don't know though, but if you look at SNA+4, the items are just rolling in. The poor Ushika has Blink Dagger. Ush already has a Soul Booster if he wants. Rubik has a gem on top.
Oh, and now Thompson getting caught out. A beautiful Elder Titan Stomp, however. Now that looks like they're trying to turn it. Ush melting immediately. Ix Mike gets well.
Wow.
Echo Stomp on 2. It's not going to be enough, however. Naga Siren ult. The arrow flies, lands right into Arya's face, and he's in a burning path. That alone is going to be a huge, huge detriment. Now they're just waiting for those cooldowns as much as possible. Whitebeard gets a toss in there. Another nice stomp. Just denying and stopping, making sure that nobody gets away. SNA Dota, stun for stun. Can't quite go tit for tat, but the arrows coming out of this Mirana just to save his buddy there. And of course, blink on blink, not going to work. KVH trying to get out of there in time. These guys, ooh, it looks like we do have that Soul Assumption traveling across the map. Doesn't look like it's ever going to be able to polish him off. And of course, Blink Tiny chasing down Blink Earthshaker. It is just not going to pan out. And there it goes, going the whole way. Not going to do anything, obviously. But still, nice little turnaround from 4Love International on SNA. What I thought was a guaranteed, I don't want to say wipe, but really good team fight going the way of SNA. Actually, they do turn it around quite nicely. SNA able to just, out of some really nice play though, not have a full team wipe, and the Mirana and the Earthshaker both just barely able to get out of there.
Slowly. Tiny is getting closer to his Aghanim Scepter, having the point booster after that fight, but that was a beautiful setup from the Elder Titan. That Echo Stomp caught everyone, and that was like all you can hope for. That was beautiful. Like once you get the stun, Tiny just goes in.
Now Thompson just getting caught out. Not too sure what he's doing there. No Shallow Grave coming up to save him, and unfortunate that you're just not safe anywhere now as a support solo. It really starts to feel like 4Love International. Their map control is a little bit sketchy right now. They need to be so careful. These familiars can set up with a stun, but of course, Ush sees them coming, knows that something's up, and Thompson needs to get out of there. But yeah, now, if you're a support and you're on 4Love International, you just need to be so incredibly careful where you are.
So that's going to be a tier 2 tower for SNA+4. Golgraph, it's an X graph, it's still just going further and further away from 4Love, even after that team fight win. So Golgraph, it's already looking at 7,500 experience, gold lead for SNA, and XP lead is close to 10k. But keep in mind there is a Naga Siren, even without things such as the Radiance, you can still play the old school Naga Siren where you have Diffusal and Lincolns, which I think in this game would be the perfect ideal choice, not to get solo killed by heroes like Storm Spirit or Bat Rider. Especially Storm Spirit is going for a plus zone, so the Hex isn't going to be coming anytime soon. Oh, it looks like Bat Rider's in trouble.
They actually do find the IX Mike. The Fissure now to block, but it's not going to be enough. IX Mike can't quite get out of there in time, and of course that smoke. What SNA+4 deciding not to be as incredibly greedy as they might have wanted to be and taking this Roche. Instead, they mostly get out of there, but IX Mike just overstaying his welcome a little bit. And now it looks like SNA Dota trying his very best to see what's going on. Fissure's in, and now they need to know that something is up, but of course they have a hood going down. They got that pipe. Things are looking up nicely. Looks like Thompson able to kill the Earthshaker before he does a single thing. IX Mike absolutely melting here, and that Song of the Siren being used just to try and stop that bat. Ush now in a heap of trouble himself, and now can Whitebeard get out of here? The Stapler punches maybe being a bit too strong at the moment. Thompson all over him, almost deciding to let Whitebeard go, but of course the illusions and these familiars able to do whatever they can. That's some nice time going in, and now it looks like, of course, you do have Thompson. Can't quite find Ush, but doesn't matter. Ush is with the rest of them, and now 4Love International gonna be able to take a really nice tier 2 at the very least. There's still a buyback available on Storm. The Bat Rider had to buy back though, so that is a big get for 4Love International. Getting 4 kills for just giving up 1. Getting pretty much all the mains minus the Mirana, and they get a tier 2, maybe even a tier 3 or some damage on it if they want to force this issue.
This is an amazing game so far. It's been so back and forth. Oh, that was some... The damage output from these heroes, man. Visage, Stapler punching Elder Titan, you have the Tiny. How... I don't get why he's called Tiny. He's not. He's like the biggest, massive like...
That's the joke. That's the joke.
Game. So it's supposed to be a joke?
Yeah, it's because he actually grows and gets to be huge, and he's like tiny, and it's like, what is it?
I thought it was because of down Under, but okay.
Don't think so.
But nonetheless, that was such a good team fight from Love International, and right now they have a decent advantage, but with Batrider flying in, oh my god,
Oh,
Thompson, you're
Thompson.
in so much trouble once again.
Oh, never mind. Just barely gets out of there in time. Didn't actually see him coming, but had the sense to know that whenever he's alone, things have not gone well. And now Tiny, he's picked up that Ags, gonna be helping him all that much more with those big hits. And there's some big combo available coming out of For Love International. Obviously, you have Song of the Siren able to set everything up, and if you combo Song of the Siren with a big stomp coming out of Elder Titan, you can just pick off 1 or 2 heroes alone, not even have to worry about them fighting back for 4 whole seconds. I mean, Tiny is just going to be manhandling these people if he wants to, and I think that's really what For Love International has to rely on here. They're not going to win the pick-off war, they're not going to win the ganking war, but they do have a very strong option in their team fight, and if everything kind of works out nicely, pans out, and just they play some nice crisp Dota, obviously, I think they can still take this with some big ults and some big team fight.
They shouldn't be sitting back, so this is some good execution. Teams that are keeping up the pressure. Naga Siren now has the gem on top as well. So see, Naga's items are catching up as well, surprisingly. In terms of net worth, Naga is actually 4th place on the board right now. In terms of gold and XP lead, sure, the gap is closing real fast. And for Love, keeping up the pressure, knowing that they can take on the team fights, they're just going to keep going. And with these towers slowly going down, SNA+4, they're responding with their own tier 1. They know that they can't contest those tier 2, so they're just going to say, hey, we're going to give it up, and we're going to do a counter push of our own. But with the Tiny, they're going to get to your tier 3 before you do, and you just have to see it coming. I felt this pipe has been a little too early. Sure, it's preemptive, banning things like Earthshaker blinking in, getting the biggest combo of his life, but
definitely seemed a little unnecessary in and of itself, just because, I mean, they have these familiars, they can use them to scout ahead. They really don't need to use pipe until they do see Earthshaker waiting in the wings and doing whatever he wants. But I mean, nonetheless, it's not the end of the world. Up in another 25 seconds, they've taken a couple towers and they lost 1, not bad by any means. And of course, taking that tier 2 bottom lane really hurts Dire in how they can take the Roche, and it really opens it up quite a bit more for the Radiant side, and obviously for Love International. So I mean, because of that, they got to make use of this Aegis. They really do want to make something happen. They just need to be careful of this Earthshaker getting some big plays happening.
That shouldn't be happening as long as Nagasara micros the illusions. Well, like, just set 1 illusion on Ike's.
Arrow flies, and now looks like we might have something going on, though. KVH, though, seeing whatever he can do. We do have Batrider right onto the Naga Siren. We don't want a song happening. However, there's the big Echo Stomp. Or, no, not Echo Stomp. Earthshaker, it's just going to be flying down. As that's happening, Thompson's, though, still alive, and Thompson just manhandling these racks. And of course, now if they've used all their cooldowns on that Tiny just for the Aegis, that is not at all what you want to see. SNA dying to familiars. Thompson is right back into it. He wants this rack so badly, but the team just is not here. Shallow Grave still only level 1. Thompson so close to melting. IX Mike can taste it. He wants it. Is able to finally get it. Gonna be given his own life for that one. But not the end of the world. And of course, a good pickoff. Echo Stomp now comes in. However, Ush just gonna be able to clean up these supports. Not too sure how they can turn this around. Nepali Jesus actually not falling very quickly by any means, and buying Thompson enough time to get out of there. Where are the stuns? And both of them able to get out of there. It looks like some nice little play. Not too sure why Ush actually gave up on that Shadow Priest.
I have to say, that was some really questionable play from the Tiny. He went for the racks, sure. But the thing is, his whole team was getting engaged upon. He doesn't throw any of his spells. Just keep going for the racks. But they could have... Look at the outcome of the fight. They still won the fight even without the help of the Tiny. Imagine if the Tiny actually joined that fight. This could have been game right then and there, instead of just going for the racks. I don't know if it's a team decision or it's an individual personal error, or just like in the heat of the battle, you just can't really see all that much, because, I mean, after all, we are spectators. We get to see everything much more clearer than they do. But if the Tiny helped out, that fight would have been over for SNA+4.
Oh no, Thompson in a heap of trouble. Can't find a way to help him out. Oh, there it is. still falls when everything's said and done, and Ush, of course, ensnare, not able to do a single thing to stop him. Song of the Siren, just to make sure Ush doesn't get out of there. He is regenning quite a bit with that Bloodstone, though. The longer you wait, the farther he'll be able to get out of here. And now it looks like we do have a big fissure, and of course the easiest get out of his life. But of course Tiny is there just in time. Ush now falling. That Orchid not going to be able to save him. Bloodstone, he's going to be back just in time to get and defend on this high ground, so not too bad, but still not the best of trades by any means. And it definitely looks like you have FL.int International just knocking on your door. No Aegis available, however. Roshan still down for at least another 2 minutes, but they don't seem to care right now.
With this Tiny, he's just gonna... Oh, okay, they don't want to use the
Done
Tiny
in
to
the Poly
chip away.
Jesus. There's the bat, taking the Tiny out of the mix, of course. That Pipe not going to be able to protect him wholeheartedly. Doesn't die too much, and a beautiful, beautiful blink in coming out of SNA. Looks like he got his Echo Slam down, and everything going the way of SNA+4 there. Looks like you have Earthshaker just waiting in the wings, trying to see if he can't find some stuns. As that's happening, IX Mike chasing down Thompson, not able to do anything, and now with that, I mean, this is just not going the way of FL.int International. They seem to have a pretty strong advantage going in, but I don't know, pretty tough. They do actually get this ranged Rax, it looks like, able to polish it off with those big creeps, and they got some damage on this tower, so the pressure, of course, still on SNA+4, but I don't know, things still pretty much anybody's game at the moment.
I just don't understand what the Tiny was doing again. Like, he was running away. His whole team was engaged on, like, right at this position. He could just turn around through a stun. Kept his team alive long enough that the Naga can pop the song, and they could have all gone out. Oh, but, yeah, true again. The song was already popped down here. And you look at it, we're 36 minutes in. The main core, Naga Siren, is still only level 15, and has already died 8 times. Things... They need to play it slow, like, more in control. Let the Tiny, just wait for the next Aegis, take the Aegis, let the Tiny just hit stars and use the Naga illusions. You gotta, honestly, when you play Naga Siren, it's not just about using the illusions to attack towers. You can sit those illusions on IX Mike, sit those illusions on the Earthshaker. That's 2 of the heroes who cannot initiate. Whereas, like, you look at IX Mike, he's constantly being able to, like, jump in, grab someone, pull them back. And this shouldn't be happening with proper Naga Siren micros.
Oh no, I agree, and obviously it's not like a Radiance, but say you stick a couple of them onto the Earthshaker, there's not going to be an Echo Slam coming in, there's not going to be any Blink-ins coming in, and not only that, if you stick him on him long enough, he's actually going to have to retreat and heal up, just because, I mean, he doesn't have the biggest mana pool in the world, and at the very least, he doesn't have, I guess you will usually have enough for a full combo with this Soul Ring, and with Blink Dagger no longer costing anything, but still... You can sap a lot of that mana with those diffusal illusions, and now it just looks like Ush trying to see if he can't find anybody. Hiding in here, he always has a TP and a failed smoke gank coming out of 4 Love. Looks like both teams not quite sure where everybody is right now.
Oh, okay, now we have engagement on the Visage. Are there going to be more TP supports?
I don't know, but I mean, that Gravekeeper's Cloak doing a huge amount of work for him, able to polish him off just in time and then back into the trees with the TP. Can't quite find Ush in time, and I mean, with that now, you just have SNA+4. They're finding those pickoffs, and FL.int International not able to take those team fights that they want to right now.
That was some very slow TP reactions from Dazzle. If Dazzle got there on time, Visage would have been able to live through that easily. Yeah, I don't quite understand. SNA+4, they're being really smart about this game. They know that the 5-on-5 potential from FL.int International is darn scary with the proper executions.
Oh yeah, and I mean, they've seen that before, obviously, just in how some of these team fights have gone, and I don't know, it's looking a little bit rough, and when it looked like FL.int International could put on the pressure and really control how this game was going, and now it looks like most of that has gone on to SNA+4. They just have that option now. Looks like Ush might be getting singled out a little bit here. Thompson really does need to land everything perfectly, but I bet Ush's finger's just a little bit too fast to make that happen, and now obviously Thompson, they know that he's here for sure. But yeah, it just feels now like SNA+4 playing their game, playing the one that they want to play, finding those pickoffs, making everybody split up on For Love International, and of course, SNA+4 gonna be benefiting from that tremendously.
Yep, and if you look, that's Mirana taking a huge stack once again. I feel like for Love International, they're racing themselves a little bit too much. They need to group as 5. They need to out all the waves, and then wait for the Roshan, take the Rosh, and Nagasiren either go for Lincoln's or Harp, tank up, make those illusions mean something. You know, these illusions right now, they haven't been very efficient, haven't been very effective. Need to see more of these illusions being utilized a lot more.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, the time for Radiance it feels like it's gone and past. Obviously, Radiance, always such a nice item to have on Nagasiren, just for the map control it gives you. But, I mean, even now, Ush can take you down quite, I don't want to say easily, but Ush can take down Nagasiren fairly well. And now that KVH has a Daedalus, has a Manta style, it just feels like you always have Nagasiren playing from the back, doesn't ever have the HP or the damage or really the control that you'd usually want. An obscene amount of armor on her, obviously, but still, things not panning out. And yeah, it just looks like For Love International, they need to take these fights, maybe force a fight in the Roche pit, because they just have some really nice spells to make it go their way. Gotta watch out for SNA Dota, obviously, and with that Earthshaker, but beyond that, like, you can force these team fights if you want to, and it just looks like SNA+4 happy to make them split up, happy to find pickoffs.
Yeah, and don't forget Elder Titan almost has enough money. About, what, 5 gold away from that Shivas? Unless he wants to save money for buyback. Is he gonna save money for buyback? I don't know. This courier is going to the secret shop without the recipes. Okay, so he is gonna save for the buyback, which is more important at this stage of the game. It is going to be a 5-man smoke.
Oh, smoking right up, and now it looks like, can they make something happen? IX-Mike revealing it all with his invisibility, though, is able to get out of there in time, and now Nepali Jesus in a bit of trouble. A good target, however, but of course, Song of the Siren being used, and now can they combo this up? The Echo Stomp doesn't land, but that Fissure sure does, and now it looks like Ush Dota in a bit of trouble. Has a BKB, of course, can't live through the right clicks of Thompson by any means, and oh, Thompson chasing him down, can't quite find him when everything is said and done, however. And, a lot of damage coming out of that Earth Splitter. Just an obscene amount when it came right down to it. As far as buybacks are concerned, it looks like we actually don't have any available for SNA+4, so this is going to be at least a tier 3, probably a Rax, of course, with Tiny knocking on your door with his big old tree there. And I mean, it just feels like For Love International, they're winning these team fights. They can take them whenever they want, and that's 2 lanes of Rax down, maybe even 3 if they want to push the issue, but it actually looks like they're going right for the throat. And now Ush goes right in there, obviously, trying to bait out a few spells, can't quite make it happen. KVH gonna have to leap out of this one, and just barely getting out of there, but it looks like he is going to fall to Thompson, of all things. And now with that, it looks like For Love International, just the AoE and the team fight coming out of them, maybe too much for it to handle. Still no GG coming out. Big Echo Slam coming out of SNA. Beautiful stuns, keeping everybody locked down. But however, you do have that pipe right back online, and because of that, guaranteeing that SNA+4 can't find the burst they need. IX-Mike able to bring Thompson back into the fountain, gonna kill him for sure, but I don't know, these 4 heroes fought, 4 other heroes, still able to obviously hit this Ancient, and there's the GG, For Love International, with a very strong showing.
Wow, amazing performance from For Love International. So impressive. Each player had their own highlights. That when your team is performing at this kind of level, you deserve every bit to win.
Oh yeah, no, that was some lovely play and a good game of Dota overall. Of course, some nice back and forth going there. Not too bad at all. Quite a lot nicer than me looking out the window. It's just pouring rain where I live right now. But don't go anywhere, folks. We'll have the second game coming up in probably a little bit less than 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere. I've been, of course, Briefcase, bringing you this ESPL weekly series semi-final. And along with me has been the lovely, handsome, the slightly more chip-toothed than before, Mito.
Oh, you had to rub it in.
I did, just a little bit. I need to mention it. I need to bring up something topical.
Let's hop over to the new lobby.
Yeah, will do. So don't go anywhere, folks. Next game will be coming up very, very shortly.